again to the SFL show. Welcome, everyone. My name is Darius Barnes, and we got some pretty good stuff going on that I want to talk about this week. Of course, we had the Super Bowl come up. I'm not going to spend too much time on that because it's been about a week. But we'll touch on it a little bit. Some of the things that we saw. Jump into next season. No, just a tad, not a lot, because we know things can change between now and next season. We're gonna talk a little MMA. We had a big fight this weekend with a very surprising, at least for me, a surprising finish with that main event. So we'll talk a little MMA. But I honestly want to focus and spend the latter part of this particular episode talking about the closing of a chapter in my boys, the twin boys in their life, as I am coming from their high school football banquet, and they'll have some emotional little things going on there. Considering the fact that this is the last one before we take that next step and we go to that next level and figure out exactly what we do. So we're in our session today talking through that, talking about that, and some of the things that I've learned and I've seen over the last years of them playing little league and high school football. So let's go ahead and get rocking. Um, Hopefully we try to get this in a good time frame. So we don't have a 2 hour show today. But we had our Super Bowl happen last weekend actually. I'm just getting back from a family trip, so I wasn't able to talk last week. But we had Kansas City Chiefs do it again. Patrick Mahomes did it again, where the Chiefs were able to beat the San Francisco 49ers in a thrilling game, overtime game. Very exciting. Some people may have that mindset that it wasn't as much of an exciting game, but I actually thought the game was fairly exciting. I enjoyed it, kept my attention the whole time. They actually ended up going in the overtime, and that was a huge discussion, figuring out exactly how the overtime went, what the new overtime rules were, and then figuring out exactly what's some of the decision making that happened in that overtime period with Kyle Shanahan. So, nevertheless, the Chiefs ended up winning 25-22. Patrick Mahomes wins his third ring, and Kyle Shanahan loses his third Super Bowl. One as a coordinator, two as a head coach. So, we won't spend too much time on this. We've heard everything thrown back and forth, in regards to good call, bad call, good decision to take the ball back. See, we've heard all of that, so we won't get into that. The thing that I want to focus on is the quarterback play on both sides. We know Patrick Mahomes is great, and he showed it once again in this game. Down by 10, seems like he's always down in these Super Bowl games. He comes back, he puts the team on his back, with his legs and with his arm, and they end up winning this game. And it's funny because in the last session that I did, I was saying, man, it feels like the Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl where Patrick Mahomes did not have to actually beat Patrick Mahomes. And that's what I was saying. But you saw in this game, he turned into Patrick Mahomes and he made the plays that needed to be made. You saw the 4th-and-1 play where he was able to get that first down and just methodically moving the ball down the field, doing what he had to do to make sure that their offense stayed on the field. And even up to that last drive where he's able to see that they're taking away the shovel pass, throws the ball to Hartman to win the game. And then you had on the other side, you had Brock Purdy, who for some reason has been questioned about his ability to play the quarterback position. No, all the way up to the Super Bowl. And it's funny because he's still getting questioned now. And I really don't understand the questions about Brock Purdy. Are we asking if he can be a winning quarterback? Because if that's what we're asking, I think he's already proven that he can. The guy wins. No, are we saying? Are we asking? Is he an elite quarterback? Because to me, those are two different things. We saying, okay, is he Lamar Jackson? Is he Josh Allen? Is he Patrick Mahomes? Is he those guys? Is that what we're saying? Because of course that answer would be no. But if you say, hey, can he play? Can he lead a team to the championship? And can you win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy as your quarterback? Well, I think the answer to that is yes. I think he's shown that. They have our two opportunities to win that game. It just didn't happen that way. It did the ball. I'm not gonna say it didn't bounce their way because I think the plays that were made or the plays that stopped the 49ers from making or the let's just say it this way. The Chiefs did what they had to do to stop the 49ers from making those plays. It wasn't just missed throws or whatever the case may be. It was Chris Jones wrecking stuff, where he was not able to make those throws. There was no Trent McDuffie getting into the backfield where he's not able to make those throws. So I'm not going to make it seem like Brock Purdy just missed things, because I think he played decent. I mean, I don't look at that game and say Brock Purdy was the reason that they lost that game. No, I look at that game and I say Patrick Mahomes did it again. I don't think it was anything the 49ers did. I just think Patrick Mahomes did, what he does, and he was able to pull this game out. Now, of course, there's some things that happened after the game that were very interesting. Of course, first, mainly Steve Wilks being fired as the defensive coordinator. I understand that move, believe it or not. And here's why. Did I think he deserved to be fired? No, I don't. I don't think Steve Wilks deserved to be fired. But when you look at this playoff run that the 49ers had, they had the bye week. And then they got into their divisional round and they played against the Green Bay Packers. And Green Bay kind of did what they wanted to do on offense, honestly speaking. And it took Brock Purdy in that offense having to make a great comeback to win that game. And of course, at the end, this defense steps up and Jordan Love throws that interception and the 49ers win. And then you go into the NFC Championship. And once again, Detroit has their way with them throughout that game. And honestly speaking, I think Detroit did more to lose that game than the 49ers did to win it. Now, that's not to take anything away from what the 49ers did in the game. They came back and they won the game. They had to score the points. But I also think that Detroit made it possible for them to do so with them not going for the field goals and things of that nature. So I understand when you look at those two games and you look at some of the laps they had throughout the year, why you would fire the defense coordinator and say, okay, maybe this is not a great fit. But that was not the reason why they lost the Super Bowl, if that makes any sense. The defense actually played well in that game. That defense actually, I think, did they hold them to 3 points in the first half? And it was the offense that kind of kept them in the game by not putting up points. And I say when the offense kept them, I'm talking about the 49ers, but not putting up any points. So I think people will look at this last game and say, hey, Steve Wilson's not the reason why, you all lost the Super Bowl. And he wasn't. He wasn't. But at the same time, you look at the Detroit game, you look at the Green Bay game, that defense seemed to struggle. And if Kyle Shanahan is saying, hey, we're going to take this all as a whole, and maybe we need to move on. Okay, I get it. I get that. It's kind of reminds me of the Vic Fangio thing with the Miami Dolphins. Where they say, okay, this is probably not a good fit for us, so we're gonna move on to something different. The only difference is that Fangio got a job like that. I don't think Steve Wilkes will. No, let's just be honest. I don't think he will. I think Steve Wilkes, Eric Bieniemy, they don't seem to have the same opportunities as a Kellen Moore when he gets let go by an offense and he gets picked up like that. You look at Brandon Staley, he gets let go. He's probably going to get picked up like that. You look at someone like Vic Fangio, he gets let go, he get picked up like that. You don't see Eric Bieniemy and Steve Wilkes. They're probably not going to get those same opportunities that those guys get. Don't know the reasons why. We can speculate as much as we want, but we normally don't see those guys get hired, back to back to back, like that. So we'll see. We'll see. But all in all, great Super Bowl. This ends our NFL season. Um, and a lot of times when the season ends, we switch right over to the NBA, and basketball. But I will say that this year was very entertaining. There was a lot of things that happened, a lot of surprises. But when it was all said and done, the Chiefs reigned supreme, and they are champs again for another year. So, um, everyone, I hope that your team makes great moves, and we'll do it all again here in the next couple of months. So, great season. Great season. So, a little bit of a downer, when it comes to and I won't even say a little bit of a downer, but um, tragic, tragedy, no, came, in the place of, the Kansas City parade. Of course, these are the things that are really tough to talk about and difficult to discuss. But of course, as the Chiefs are celebrating, their phenomenal championship run at their championship parade right there in Kansas City. There was a shooting, and you had a young lady lose her life. You had several others get injured. A lot of kids get injured, and it just it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because it seems like we can do nothing good without something or someone just doing something crazy. You know, and here's my thing about disputes. I have said to my wife many a times that I miss the days when kids, would just get into fights. I do. But they would just get into fights. We have a dispute, we throw a couple of punches, we help each other up. This person wins the fight, we dap each other up, we go on, we go play ball together. I miss those days. Because they're not here anymore. There's a dispute. No, now we're pulling out assault rifles now. No, I didn't like what you said. You didn't like what I said. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's pull out assault rifles and let's shoot at each other like we're in Grand Theft Auto or something. I don't know. I'm not a gamer, so and it's crazy because people are dying. Kids are dying, and I can't see how anyone can look at the landscape that we're in today and how easy it is for someone or some event to be shot up, and nobody feels like something needs to be done about that. Hey, we need to look at this. I mean, I don't understand how someone or those that are in charge can't look at the landscape and see how things are going, within the last 5 years, and say something has to change. We have to make this happening. These type of events, we got to make them a little bit harder to happen, if possible. I mean, I mean, I don't see how that doesn't come to mind. How we're just okay as a society and as a world with kids being shot up. I don't get it. No, where there be college campuses, high schools, it's mind boggling, to me that those that are at top are looking at this and they're talking about this and they're saying no, nothing needs to change. No, nothing needs to change, and I don't understand that. No, we have to make the ability to get guns and to get rifles harder. We have to. No, we have to. There's no way that that we can be feel safe as a society if kids, teenagers can just walk around with assault rifles. How? I mean, no, they I mean, it's crazy to me that I mean, I don't know, and I'm trying not to say anything wrong. Not that it's going to get aggregated or somebody's going to be listening to me or whatever the case may be. No, I just don't want it to get into a political stance and you have the sides going against each other because that's the world we live in. But we gotta find a way to protect our kids. No, songs the children are our future. We have no future if we can take if we kill them. We have no future. No, so we have to find a way to protect our kids. You know, and I don't think that it protects our kids when you're giving them the ability to handle their disputes with weapons. No, that's not protecting them. No, I know we look at firearms as protection, but in a kid's hands, that's not protection. That's dangerous. And what happens is kids, they're using these things, and I don't think that they're understanding the consequences. Where if they pull that trigger, you can't get it back, and it does not have no faces or names on them. So we got to do a better job. I mean, we got to do a better job. These aren't things that we should take lightly. It seems that whenever something like this happens, we talk about it. We talk about change, 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 change. And 2 weeks later, we forget about the young lady that lost her lives, the kids that have to deal with the fact that their mother lost their lives, and we go on to doing things, as business as usual. No, and we just got to do a better job. We got to do a better job. No, so if that's people talking about it, if that's people posting about it, whatever the case may be. I mean, we have some of the smartest individuals, on the face of the earth, and you're telling me that we cannot figure out a way for kids to stop getting shot up. That is crazy to me. But it just puts a damper on everything. Sports bring people together. Sports, they bring people together. And it seems like anytime we're trying to bring people together, we have to always be looking out to make sure someone does not have some type of dispute or some type of hatred towards something or someone else, and they shoot the place up. So we got to do a better job at that. I I worry. I worry. I have a daughter in college right now. I have her at Auburn University. I have twin boys that are finishing up their senior year. They will be in college, here in the next couple of months. And they're gonna all be at different locations. And it's just it's so worrisome because you just don't know what's going to happen. I remember um, my father, greatest man I know. He is the most respected man that I know. I give him the utmost respect, and I can't imagine what it was like for him. When he had four boys, just four of us. Don't have three brothers. When his oldest son went to the military, I'm the second oldest. I went to the military, The one under me went to the military. Now he's a military man as well. Now, and I can imagine how he feared for our safety, knowing what the military stood for, knowing what it was about. Though, even with his experiences with the military. Now, and now, not just the first one, not the second one, the third, and now he has to deal with that, for while he's trying to live his life, he's worried about his sons, being out there. Then you have the war on terrorists that come out, and 9/11 happens, and all of his kids are in the military. So I can't imagine what he had to deal with. But the funny thing is, mine are not even in the military, and I have the same worry because we can't control who is able to get a gun. So the same worry is there, and that is crazy. That we have to worry about things like that. We got to do better. We got to do better as a society. We got to do better as a country because we can't keep killing our kids. We just can't do it. So please, let's keep Kansas City in our prayers. That family, that lost their mother, their wife, sister, brother. We're gonna keep them in prayer as well, and we just have to hope for better times, better days. I don't know if that happened, but we got to stay prayerful and hopeful, that they will. So, um, hate that the last thing that we remember about this wonderful football season is tragedy. But at the same time, no, we have to do our part to try to prevent those tragic things from happening. So hopefully, election year coming up. Don't know how that's gonna go, but hopefully we really start to focus on that because there's some things that needs to change in regards to some of those gun laws, things of that nature. So um, let's go ahead. Let's get off that. Of course, that's something we can talk about for a while. So let's go ahead. Let's get off that. And we had a MMA fight come up this weekend. And MMA, of course, I've said before, is one of my favorite sports. Honestly, one of my favorite sports to watch. I am huge on these martial arts. Love them. Been watching them for a long time. And this weekend, we had a pretty good card. I'm not going to talk about every fight because I definitely don't want to bore you with it because I know the individuals that are probably looking at this probably don't watch MMA the way I do. So you had the main event with Alex Volkanovski going up against Topuria, Ili Topuria. And Topuria, young guy, 27 years old, undefeated, hits like a truck, Greco-Roman wrestling background. And he's going against the great. That is Alex Volkanovski's name. He's the great. We've seen him beat everyone from Jose Aldo, who some may consider to be the top champ at that 145 position, that 145 weight class. We saw him beat Max Holloway 3 times, who others may continue to be the greatest champ at that 145 weight division. We saw him beat just about every Ortega, Yair Rodriguez. I mean, Koreans up. I mean, you name it. He has been able to run through that. Some of these fights weren't even close, to be honest. When I look at his last fight with Max Holloway, I was like, wow, this dude is good. Like this dude's good. He goes up to 155. In fact, it's Makhachev, who some feel like it's the number one pound for pound fighter. He loses that first fight. He comes back. He wins his fight against Yair. And then, of course, he fights Islam again. And he gets knocked out. No head kick. Takes that fight on short notice. He gets knocked out. Just got caught with a head kick. And kind of shows some vulnerability, for Volkanovski. Me personally, I think I might have seen him get really, rocked maybe once or twice. I know Max Holloway caught him with a head kick at the end of the first round, I think in the second fight. And the last time that I really saw him get touched was probably against Ortega. No, he got to touch him up really good. No, got him in a really tight guillotine and a triangle choke. No, and Islam, of course. That was a great back and forth. But he's always been able to weather. You've always been able to pull through. So to see him get finished by Islam that first time, it's kind of like, wow, didn't see that. But you kind of understood. He's up in weight, short notice. Turns out that he, is always training, because these guys are always training. But maybe wasn't training as much as he should. So it happens. It's the fight game. It happens. So, with that, you see him in this fight, first round, he wins that round. He looks good. He looks like Alex. And then the second round, as that round is going, he still looks good. He looks like Alex, and then boom, one shot, out, gone, folded them up like some socks. And I was like, jeez, wow, and Topuria said he was going to do it. He said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it in the second round. I'm going to touch him, and that's going to be it. And that's what happened. He gave Alex his rose because he is Spanish, which is kind of cool. I can get down with that. They're giving his opponent a rose once he puts him to sleep. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Alex Volkanovski now, because this is 2 losses in a row, both by knockout, and he's lost 1, 2, 3 of the last 4. And he's 36. So he's at the latter part of of his fight game. He's probably coming out of his prime. And what do you do now? What do you do with Alex now? Because he's been the champ at 145 for a while. So you kind of have to grant him a rematch. But do you want to grant him a rematch after being knocked out twice like this? I mean, do we want to do that? Where we're granting him a rematch at this age against a guy that hits like a truck at the 145 division. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. With Alex Volkanovski, and he's great. He is a great fighter, but I would be kind of nervous to throw him in there again. With this young bull. For the most part, they call him the Matador. He's that punch was brutal. So you had that fight go on. So we'll see what happens. Ilia Topuria, of course, he's calling on Conor McGregor. I don't understand why everybody calls on Conor McGregor. I'm not Conor McGregor ain't run a fight in years. Why? I don't know if it's the money thing. But I'm like, why we want to fight Conor? We want to fight somebody that's in winning fights right now. I'm not sure, and I'm not saying anything bad about Conor. Conor is one of the greatest combat sports, fighters ever. The first double champ. Champ. But Conor is doing other stuff. Conor's making millions right now. Conor fights only if he wants to. Yet he just gets called out by everyone whenever they win a fight. It's like, Conor, come fight. It's like, do we want to be great, or do we just want to fight individuals for money, or whatever the case may be? I don't know. But he called Conor out. See what happens there. I think Conor McGregor still, I guess, has a fight scheduled with Michael Chandler. I don't know. They keep saying that, but they just keep saying it. So, but we'll see what happens there. That was our main event, co-main event. You have Paulo Costa going up against Robert Whittaker, Bobby Knuckles. Very entertaining fight. Paulo Costa, that dude there. I remember the first time I saw him fight. I saw him fight against Uriah Hall, and him and Uriah Hall would literally just swaying at each other, just hitting each other with all kind of shots. And it seemed like every shot that Uriah Hall hit Paulo Costa with, he smiled and he kept coming forward. And he dropped Uriah with a body shot, just bow, right there to the gut, and he just goes down. And it's interesting because other than Israel Adesanya, who finished Paulo, I don't think I've really ever seen him hurt. No, we saw him go to war with Yoel Romero. Um, the Luke Rockhold fight was with them, was good that they had together, which was crazy when Luke is rubbing the blood all in his face. And even with this fight, he gets hit, but he always seems to continue to come forward, and he's laughing, he's smiling, and it's almost like he's made of concrete. He's almost like he's like a brick. It seems like, which should tell you how great Israel is, because Israel was able to finish him. So it just tells you a little bit about his greatness that he was able to do that. But you had that fight. That was a co-main event, and of course, Robert Whitaker was able to get back in the winning column after losing to Dricus du Plessis, who was the champ at 185. Bobby Knuckles, as they call him, was able to go ahead and get back in the win column, winning unanimous decision over Paul Costa. The third fight, Ian Gary, Jeff Neal. We're not going to talk much about that fight, no too much. Of course, Ian Gary was able to pull that on split decision. And then you had, Karloff and Rodriguez fight, and Rodriguez was able to finish him off. And I think I think those were the main events fights. You had the Mackenzie Dern, Amanda Lemos fight, which was also very entertaining. It's always funny watching women fight. Not because I don't think they can do it. It's because a lot of these women, they be beautiful, and you watch them just getting just pounded on. It's like, oh my gosh, this does not look right. But that fight was, to me, fight of the night. The Amanda Lemos Mackenzie Dern fight was fight of the night to me. That was a absolute banger, great fight. That Amanda Lemos was able to win. So great stuff going on with MMA. Of course, you have 299 coming up in Miami with Dustin Poirier, who's my favorite fighter, going up against some dude I never heard of, Saint Denis or something like that. But he's projected to lose that fight. So I will be very tuned into that. I think the main card, or the main fight for that particular card in Miami is going to be the Sugar Sean O'Malley going up against Chito Rivera, which is a rematch for Cheetah won last time. So we'll see what that fight. That card is actually going to be pretty good. Let me put that card up because I think that card is going to be a really good fight card. Because there's some great fights going on there. So and that's going to be in March. So you got Cheeto and Sean O'Malley. You got Saint Denis and Dustin Poirier, Gilbert Burns and Della Maddalena, Peter Young and Yadon Song, and Kevin Holland and Michael Page. So I know if you don't watch MMA, you don't know those guys, but that fight card is going to be pretty interesting. So we'll see what happens there. We'll be tuned in for that. I don't know, man. If I can get tickets to Miami and go to that fight, you know what? We're going to work on that. I'm going to see if we can make that happen. We can get tickets and we can go down to that fight in Miami. I'm going to make some calls to see if we can make that happen. So you got that coming up. Like I said, the UFC is starting to get rolling. Where you'll see these cards come up again. Of course, UFC 300. They just announced that the main event for 300 will be Jamal Hill, and coming off his Achilles tear, and Alex Fajeda, who is the 205 champ. So, of course, that's a very interesting, entertaining fight. It kind of came out of nowhere, a big surprise. So that would be headlining UFC 300. So Good things going on with the UFC. Great card this weekend. Love talking MMA, and I'm really gonna work on see if we can go to that Miami fight. No, and I'll keep you all updated with that. So, um, last thing I want to talk about today. No, but before I get to that, let's talk a little NBA. No, because as we get ready to go into the NBA, as we get ready to go into watching NBA. Now the football's over, like I said, we go to the NBA. I see that they had the All Star game this weekend, and you had the East. They went back to the East West. No, just the normal way of doing things where they didn't pick teams. I didn't know they were going to do it this way this time. And you saw the East beat the West just with a barrage of 3 pointers. And some of the big talk was once again the lack of defense that's played in these All Star games. They each scored 211 points in the All Star game. So, of course, everybody's talking about the lack of defense, things of that nature. It's not competitive, things of that nature. And it's like, hey, this is for fun. No, there's nothing that's going on. That's no. I'm not gonna say that they're not. Let me put it this way. I think the players, and I don't want to speak for them, use this as just time to get away, time to breathe. Now, I know some people will look at it and be like, oh, well, back in the days, the competitive juices were just a lot more. Off the top of my head, I'm not going to make it seem like that's the case. I can see why individuals will think that, why they would say, okay, they were more competitive back then than they were now. And I'm not going to say that they're not as competitive. No, because I think the guys that are in the NBA today are competitive as well. I think the difference between them is that these guys come up playing together as kids with AAU and things like that. So it's not that they're not competitive. It's just that they know each other very well, and they've been playing with each other for so long that when they get to an All Star game, I I would think that it reminds them more so of that than it does. Whereas if Magic is going against Isaiah, you know, and they're talking about the times, where they would meet in the finals because that's the only time they would play together or play, against each other in the finals. Of course, they play each other maybe once or twice a year, you know. But yeah, they're trying to one up each other. Hey, I'm not gonna let you get me, or whatever the case may be. Whereas you take somebody like Bam and Tatum, yeah, one plays for Boston, one plays for Miami, but they kind of been playing together for a long time. I think they've been playing together since they was like teenagers. So I think it's just a different upbringing. And I don't know if that makes them less competitive or just makes it more of a shoot around per se. No, I would think that it makes them more so of a shoot around where it doesn't matter who wins, doesn't matter who loses. It's just me and my boys going out and playing ball together. It's kind of like, when we were younger, you know, um, before we would jump into our games, when we would play 21 or wherever the case may be, where it would be competitive, we would just go out there and we just shoot around. You make a shot, you get it back. You make a shot, you get it back. You know, I think this is how this All Star game is. Tyrese Burton is hot. Keep getting him the ball till he miss. When he miss, all right, somebody else's turn. No, and I think the games just go that way. They just put that in the game format, and that's just how it goes. So I mean, I don't know how you fix that. You know, I don't know how big of a deal it is. I guess it is to those that are the purists when it comes to basketball. They want to see more competition. But I don't particularly have an issue with watching Dame shoot half court shots. That was wow. So no, I don't know. No, but I'm very interested in watching the second half of the season. That is what I will focus on most for now. is on the NBA as they get ready to gear up for the playoffs. So that will be, that's going to be where my focus is. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We got some good teams out there. Don't want to talk about it too much because I don't really know a lot of details about what's going on because I've been wrapped into football. But I'm very interested to see, what happens with basketball here in the second half of the season. So, with that, now let me go ahead and let me get into my family business. Like I said, came from my boys' banquet today. They had their banquet with their high school football team. Their seniors. This is the last year of football for them, and I saw them up there, and all the memories were coming from when they first started to play football. My father took them to a park right there in Dallas, Georgia. Got them in football. I wish I can do some screen share. I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to do some screen share, but show some pictures and stuff like that. But it's been football from then. That first year, I remember watching it, be like, okay, maybe this is not their sport. Maybe this is not for them. But as time went on, they stuck with it. And they both ended to get better and better and better and better. And before you knew it, you had superstars, on the scene. And I'm not saying it because I'm their dad. I legitimately think that both of them are great athletes and great ball players. Of course, one really wants to do it. One really wants to play. The other is saying, "All right, no, this is good enough for me. It's time to turn the page, get to the next level," which is fine as well. But this year was very interesting. This was a very interesting year because um, high school football here in Alabama is a really big deal. And the school that they were going to for their 9th, 10th, and 11th grade year was a really good football team. They were really good, but you kind of knew how certain games were going to go. You knew that when they played some of those top tier teams, that they probably were not going to pull those games out for whatever reason. For whatever reason, whether it was bad play calling, or whatever the case may be, you kind of knew how it was going to go. So for their senior season, they had an opportunity to, through some family stuff that was going on, to go play for the school that they started at, which was Moody High School, which is where we started. When I first moved here to the Alabama area, we went out to a park right there, Moody Park, and you had some really cool people come take us in, and they allowed the boys to play, even though we had just got into town, and they kind of grew up there and loved it. Of course, marriage took me over to the other school, but this gate, they had an opportunity to come back and they was able to do it, and phenomenal season. They had a phenomenal season. I could not have been No, I could not be, even now, still am more proud of what these boys displayed this year on the football field. It was a huge chance that we were taking, leaving one school, going to the next. As a senior, when it comes to recruiting and things of that nature, but no, they wanted to bet on themselves, and it was the right move. Right now, one of them is, or the one that wants to play, he is going to Murray State. He's going to be a walk on there, which I still disagree with. I think he is a scholarship athlete, but the portal, things of that nature, makes it really hard for a lot of these high school kids to get scholarships because you're not going to tell me that he is not good enough to be on scholarship because he is. No, he is. And if you can check the tape, and you can see that he is good enough to be on scholarship. And wherever he ends up playing, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take this opportunity here, But I promise you, no, we can pull this back up. Wherever he ends up playing, they're going to get a stud of a wide receiver. No, and those that missed out, sorry. No, I'm sorry, but no, they had a great season, and this season, no, was interesting. And just to talk a little bit about what they accomplished this year, new school, new offense. No, one had to learn a new defense, and they had to get spun up really fast. No, so no, you have one receiver, one DB. No, receiver, DB. No, it was cool seeing them work together. No, because believe it or not, they're brothers, but they didn't do that a lot. No, but it was cool seeing them work together because they kind of needed each other to learn the offense and the defense, and know what each other were doing and things like that. So the season starts, and for my wide receiver son, no, this is Kadarius. It's a learning curve. He has to learn the timing of the quarterback. They try to get things together, and you know, you see flashes of it where there's nice catches, but then there's overthrows. There's this timing's off, this that whatever. So they're dealing with this throughout the first part of the season, but then you start to see it click. And man, when you started to see it click, it went rolling and rolling and rolling. You know, and no, they ended up having a great season. They made it to the third round of the playoffs, where they ended up losing to the team that played for State, the Ramsey. I interviewed them before that game, which is also a game that they should have won. There's not. They lost 3 games this year, and I promise you, every game that they lost, they should have won. When you look at the game that they played against a team from Maryland, great team, a lot of speed, a lot of size. They lost that game 14-10. But you could tell the offense just wasn't clicking. The offense wasn't clicking. They hadn't gotten there yet, you know. But still, they had an opportunity to win that game. I think they were Bishop Sycamore. I think that was the name of the team. They ended up scoring the touchdown within the last minute to win that game, 14-10. And then they had the game against Leeds, which is their biggest rival, And this is when their offense were clicking, and they Leeds jumps out on them. I think they come out with maybe 14-0 lead, and they go up 21-7, something like that. And the second half starts, and Moody just starts to storm back. The defense just completely shuts them down in the second half, and it's 21-24. And Moody has the ball, and they're driving, and they stall out on like the 15 or the 20-yard line, and they have to kick a field goal, and that field goal gets blocked. The thing about that game is that is one of them games where, my son is clicking. He has 2 touchdowns, and he's unguardable, and they're double covering, and, they get that close to the end zone, and you just wish that they just would have gave him an opportunity, just threw the ball up to him, gave him an opportunity to catch that pass, because I believe he would have been able to come down with it. But no, because of that double coverage, they went to the other side, and the defenders were able to make really good plays, and they had to settle for the field goal, and they end up losing that game by 3. And then, of course, the game that they lost in the playoffs. Once again, they're doing such great things in that game. They're in a bunch formation, and then they're spreading them out, that way the defense can't see the formation that they're in, and you can tell that was confusing them. So you had guys running up and down the field, things like that, and there was just 1 or 2 plays that needed to be made that would have won that game for them. Once again, I know Kadarius, he has 2 touchdowns in the first half of that game, the first quarter of that game. To be honest, before they say, you know what, forget this man, we're going cover two, and that's no, that's what they decided to do from there, and it was just a lot of fun to watch. It was just a whole lot of fun to watch, and let me see if I can bring up one of the pictures of him scoring, in that game, and that was him, as he's scoring his first touchdown, which was phenomenal. It was such a great game. He jumps up, he catches that pass, and he brings it back in, and yeah, just awesome. And then he has a second touchdown in that first quarter, and they're talking trash to each other, and it is great. I mean, it is absolutely great. You know, watching them do this throughout time, and I'm sitting there and I'm screaming, I'm yelling, and it was a phenomenal year. I mean, and it does end in heartache. It does hit in heartache, where they ended up losing that game, even though no, Kadarius had a great game. They ended up losing that game. Um, Sean, of course, had a great season as well. Um, Still learning how to be that shutdown corner, but I love the clips and watching him being able to be on the field and just have the opportunities that he weren't able to get, at the other school that was just phenomenal. Watching him make tackles, because he was in wrestling, he was able to take what he got from wrestling and take it over to football, and watching him make tackles. It was funny one game, I think for the second or third game of the season, where he's in the game and he pulls up for a tackle and he sticks the guy, pow, puts a nice hit on him. But he gets he gets a stinger, and he looks down at his arm and he says, I thought my arm fell off because he had never felt a stinger before. And it just put a smile on my face, when I'm talking about them, because I'm so proud of them, and what they did, not only this year, but their time, in sports. It is going to be hard watching them as they go to that next level. Um, this is how that season ended. With heartbreak, it was heartbreak. But nevertheless, no, this picture here speaks to the relationship that I have with my boys. Um, I'm always going to be a shoulder for them. They have always been my life. Everything that I've done, every decision that I've made has been predicated around what was best for them. So this really sums things up. That was a tough game for them. That was a tough loss, but I wanted them to know right there on the field that Dad is there and will always be there. So great season. Great season. I am proud of those two young men, and I'm so looking forward to what they're going to do at the next level. DJ is going to Murray State, like I said. He's going to be a walk on there. We're still waiting for some scholarship offers, because I do think he is a scholarship athlete. But I think, nevertheless, if given the opportunity, you're really going to see what he's capable of, because I think he's just reaching his potential. He's not even there yet. No, he's not even reaching it. He hadn't even scratched the surface yet. So I think he's going to be dynamic on that next level. And of course, Sean, he's going to go to Troy University. He did say I can go ahead and I can say that. No, he's going to go ahead. He's going to go to Troy University, and he's going to focus on the educational side of things and figure out what he wants to do and how he's going to do it. So I'm proud of them young men. I look forward to seeing them flourish on the next stage as they get ready to go to that next level in life. It's going to be exciting to watch them grow up, and they'll see the type of men they become. I've tried, my hardest to instill good seeds in them, and we'll see. We'll see. But I'm really proud of them, and I'm proud of what they've done. And as this chapter of their life closes, and this door closes, when the next door opens up, I think that you're really going to see caterpillars form into butterflies. So, um, great evening, great night, a lot of smiles, but man, time has flown by. It's really flown by. So, um, we'll see what happens on the next day. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm signing off. Just wanted to give them some love. No, but we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna sign off here. So, hopefully next week, we get an opportunity to get some brothers on here. Where we can talk about um, things together and talk about the football season. What are some of the things that we saw? What are some of the things that we're looking forward to next year? So, we'll try to put that together for you all next week. So until then, you all take care. Much love, peace, and see you in a couple of days. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.